I'm purely sitting here because the colors are making this video look very autumnal and for no other reason, because this is uncomfortable and there's a chair right here and I'm sitting on the floor. Hi, my name is Anastasia and I'm making this video to make me feel better about myself. Did you have an unproductive week? Did you feel like those Instagram posts with the productivity tips and those videos with the productivity tips did not work? Did you feel even worse because of that? Welcome to my week! I feel like this is like an AA meeting, only it's about productivity. Like a PA meeting, Productivity Anonymous. Take a seat. You're in a safe space. You can talk to me about toxic productivity and how much you'd like to be productive, but sometimes you just can't. So we've all had a point in our life that made us feel like we have to be a bit more productive, or that made us feel like we want to be more productive, we like productivity. Whether that was when we started uni or coming out of uni and going into work, or even when productivity vlogs and tips and all of that started becoming a thing on YouTube and social media. At some point in our lives, productivity became the word. So my productivity journey started when I went into uni to study journalism. Up until then, I was the kind of girl that would do all of the things that she had to do last minute. I would be armed with Red Bull and coffee at the start of the exams, but during the year I would be the kind of person that watches TV shows all day and movies and reads books all day. And I would always push my responsibilities later. Later was my favorite word to say. Are you gonna finish the report you have to do? Yeah, later. Are you gonna tidy up your room? It's a little bit of a mess. Definitely later. Yeah, I'll do it later. Yeah. No, I'll do it later. But going into journalism, suddenly everything changed. I felt that whenever I was not doing something, I was 10 steps behind my course mates. I felt like journalism was all about doing something all the time. If you're not doing something, you're failing. And so began my addiction to productivity. I started watching those productivity vlogs and tips and reading those articles about productivity and those articles about what makes someone fail. Spoiler alert, all those articles you see that talk about the 5 traits that people who fail have, one of them is procrastinating and not doing anything. And whenever I saw that, literally panic would fill me and I would be like, oh crap, I need to do something. I associated productivity with success, and I associated not doing anything with failure. And to an extent that's true. To an extent, if you're constantly not doing anything and if you're constantly procrastinating, you're not gonna succeed on what you want to do and you're gonna fail because, you know, hard workers are the ones who succeed. But that does not mean that if you take a couple of days and you're not doing anything, or you're going through a day where you just cannot focus, that means you're failing. That means you're not being productive. So this week started really badly. So badly. I got my period and it was so painful. Literally, we need to normalize the fact that women should not go to work when they're on their periods, especially if they are really painful ones, because I could not get out of bed. And a lot of women are experiencing periods where they cannot get out of bed because they're in so much pain. And so for 2 days, I could not get out of bed. I could not function because I was in so much pain. And then the 3rd day and afterwards, I was just feeling really low because those 2 first days, I was feeling guilty that I was not doing anything that probably other people at another side of the world were doing something, and I was in my bed. I was not able to write articles or to write scripts. I was creatively stuck when it came to coming up with ideas about my YouTube channel, and so I felt like I was a complete and utter failure. And so the next few days, for some reason, I could not concentrate and I could not do anything. And I believe that happened because I haven't taken a proper break from doing any kind of work since before COVID-19 happened. I mean, I've taken trips, like 2-day trips, and I've gone on like holidays twice. But even on those 2-day trips, my mind kept going a million miles an hour. I kept looking at my LinkedIn profile and arranging things and arranging interviews and doing mental breakdowns of articles I had to write. My mind kept working. I never stopped working. So I never took a break of, a couple of days where you're not working and you're not thinking about work and you're not thinking about what you have to do on Monday. I never did that. And so in my head, even though I had taken myself out of the environment where I'm working, I was still working. So I never relaxed. So I think when I had to stop, when my period made me stop because I could not function, it all came crashing down on me. And so for the next 3 days, I felt like I could not go back to the routine of working and thinking about work and thinking of new things to do. We live in a society that expects us to keep on doing stuff, to multitask, to always be busy with something. And that can be overwhelming sometimes when you're not allowing yourself to take a break. I mean, it's also really bad to allow yourself to take too many breaks, but it's really important to know when to stop and when to stop thinking about work as well, because just stopping is not enough. So I spent the last 5 days like this. The first 2 days I was in bed. The third I was running errands, and the evening of the 4th day I decided that I needed a break. So I made some tea, I read a book, and I gave myself the evening. And I thought the next day I would be great, but I wasn't. So the next day I spent the entire day, literally the entire day, with a book in my hands. And I kept telling myself, I'll get up in an hour, in half an hour, I'll get up in the next 10 minutes. And that went on until 8 o'clock in the evening when I finished that 700-page book. That's me. Maybe you were on your phone or you were watching a movie and you were like, okay, the next movie or the next episode. And that's bad normally, but sometimes you just need that. And I feel like it was me who was stopping me from getting up. It wasn't the book, which was it was really entertaining. But when I finished that book and I set it aside and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now. And I woke up the next day, I felt so productive. I felt ready to do stuff. I felt energized. I felt like I can take on the world and start doing things and researching things, because I had taken those days that I needed to actually, rejuvenate and get energized again. And I find that is important because when you have like the work days, Monday to Friday, and then you're like, oh yeah, we have the weekend. And usually we don't really have the weekend. We have to do other things in the weekend, so our mind never stops. And at some point we feel overworked and we feel exhausted. So I think it's really important when you're closing your laptop or you're closing your books or whatever you're doing, that it's done for you. You don't think about it again until the next day or the time that you arrange to open them up again. Because otherwise your brain is constantly working, you're still thinking about it, you're still stressing about it, and you're not taking a break. And another thing that I started thinking about these days, because I'm honestly trying really hard to excuse this week for me, was that whenever we're having an unproductive day, what does that mean? What does having an unproductive day mean? For me, it means that I had certain things planned in my head or written down on a list, because I'm that person that writes down lists, and I didn't do them. But does that really mean that you had an unproductive day? I feel like if we don't do the things that we said we're gonna do, we immediately think like, oh, I failed today. I didn't do the things I said I was gonna do. Yeah, but you probably did other things. I don't know, maybe you cleaned the house, or you, did another exercise, or you spoke to that person you haven't spoken to in like months. maybe it's really important to also acknowledge the things we did in our unproductive days, because maybe they weren't unproductive. Maybe they were productive in another way. So that was my ramble for today. I just literally had a really unproductive 5 days, and I felt like of all the ideas I have for videos, this is the one thing that I really wanted to talk about. So there you have it. I hope it made you feel better about yourself if you had an unproductive day, week, or an hour. It's okay. I mean, don't get used to it, but it's okay to have those couple of days or those couple of hours. I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, or a fantastic night. Subscribe if you want to, comment down below, like this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!